Gillette presents the World Series. Yes, baseball's 1941 World Series between those amazing Brooklyn Dodgers and the powerhouse New York Yankees. And this is another cavalcade of sports broadcast by the Gillette Safety Razor Company. Your radio-hosted football bowl games, the Kentucky Derby, all the major boxing bouts, and other important sports events of national interest. This World Series reaches you through the combined facilities of the Mutual Broadcasting System, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, and scores of affiliates. More than 300 stations from here to Hawaii, and flies to the four corners of the world through shortwave. This is Red Barber, speaking from the Yankee Stadium. And right beside me are Bob Elson of WGN Chicago, and Bill Corum of the New York Journal-American. And now as we warm up for the opener, just let me remind you that, as usual, Gillette's advertising messages will be so timed that you won't miss a single play or a single thrill. Well, first of all, it's a great day as far as the weatherman is concerned. He frightened us, the life out of us yesterday when he forecast probable showers for this mighty opener. But it is perfect weather. And of course, people were doubly frightened around the neighborhood for fear that there would be rain today in view of the fact that September, just ended, has been the driest month from a rain standpoint in the history of the Weather Bureau at New York. And so everyone had the feeling that rain was really overdue, which it still is. But it's going to be overdue for another day at least, because there is no rain today. It's perfect. Charlie McManus of the Yankee staff told me as I came into the park this morning that he goes back 26 years in baseball and that he has never seen a waiting line such as the waiting line this morning, the biggest all time at Yankee Stadium. So that tells you what you want to know about the crowd. I don't see a vacant seat right now. And to all appearances, unless the eye is very deceiving, this is beyond a doubt at the moment the greatest crowd ever to see a World Series ball game. And that tells you that. However, I can't tell you who is going to be the starting pitcher for Brooklyn, except to say that apparently it's going to be Kurt Davis. Leo DeRocha is persisting in his policy, as he said, of waiting till the last minute before he reaches into the pickle bat. And this is the moment. Here is Davis walking right out in front of the Brooklyn dugout now to start warming up with Roy Spencer, the bullpen coach and catcher. So it is going to be Kurt Davis, and that's definite. Of course, you wish to know the lineup. And as Red Ruffing comes out for the Yankees, and Kurt Davis comes out for the Dodgers. Here they are. For Brooklyn, the visiting club here at Yankee Stadium. It is Dixie Walker leading off in right field. Billy Herman playing second base. Hitting third and winning the batting crown for the league in his first full season up, Pete Reiser. That name is R-E-I-S-E-R, Reiser in center. Dolph Camilli, the home run leader of the league and the leader in runs batted in, batting fourth. At first base, Joe Medrick in left field. Hitting sixth and playing at third is Harry Labaghetto. Pee Wee Reese is at short. Mickey Owen is to catch, and Kurt Davis, who won 13 and lost 7, but was dynamite down the stretch. Davis is to start. For the Yankees, it's the regular batting order. Sturm leading off, playing first. And this is quite a climax for him at the end of his first rookie season up. Red Rolfe, underweight, but Red, in his own words, says he's ready, and as Red goes on to say, he wouldn't be out there if he wasn't ready. Rolfe at third. Tommy Henrich, Henrich, it's pronounced as though there was a K on it. Henrich in right field. And the matchless Joe DiMaggio. Well, if we start talking about his records, we'll be talking until tomorrow. DiMaggio in center field. Charlie Keller, and he says that ankle is perfectly all right. And an important point about the ankle is that it is not the ankle on his pivot or power foot. Keller in left field. Bill Dickey is catching, hitting sixth. Then comes Joe Gordon, great second baseman, and probably just as great a tumbler. Gordon at second. And Scooter Rizzuto, Phil Rizzuto, finishing his rookie season, and he came up as a rookie and spark plugged the Yankees. Rizzuto at short. And Red Ruffing, who's won 5 and only lost once in World Series competition. And so those are the batting orders and the starting pitchers. The weather is great. The crowd, well, you couldn't get any more in. And now, with a great deal of pleasure, I give you Bill Corum of the New York Journal-American. William?
Okay, Red, and thank you a lot. The contrast between these two pitchers, fans, is, well, almost remarkable. Ruffing is a great, big, powerful warhorse sort of a fella who's carried the hod for the Yankees through so many years and through so many series. And Davis is a slim, slight, even slightly sickly-looking sort of fella Looks like he doesn't have a great deal of power, but somewhere in that long, lean right arm of his has got a lock. When he used to pitch out in St. Louis, the hot weather used to get him down. And incidentally, today is absolutely, as Red told you, perfect baseball weather. All sign of rain has disappeared. There's no question that this is going to be the biggest crowd that ever saw a World Series ball game. The Yankees are out there now taking in field practice. Ruffing is warming up. Both fellas are just going along easy with their warm-up catchers. Talking to Judge Landis last night, who is Mr. Baseball in my book, in my opinion, and who is the man who saved this great national game, along with Babe Ruth, the old fellow who stood alone and hit so many homers in this stadium in baseball's time of trial. He was saying that everybody comes to these series, and there are so many important people, so many dignitaries, and so many celebrities that he just wished we wouldn't try to name them because we'd be leaving somebody out and we wouldn't have the time. I see no reason, however, not to tell you that the world's heavyweight champion just walked in and took his seat down there, and he is one undoubtedly of the greatest baseball fans in this whole country. Got a softball team of his own called the Joe Louis Bombers, and tried to play first base for a time, and when he came back here a couple years ago to train for a fight, I was talking to him. He told me how the team had gone and how many games had won and how the hitters were, and finally I said, Joe, what was your average? And he kind of looked ashamed, and he hung his head down, and finally said, well, you wouldn't put this in the paper, would you, Mr. Bill? And I said, no, Joe, if you don't want me to. He says, I batted 190. So that's the kind of a hitter he is with a baseball bat, but then he doesn't need a baseball bat. Now we're going to be into this ball game in a very short time. There's another little story, however, that I might slip in here about Lewis because it leads to something I want to say about one of these rookies in this series. Once in a big fight of his, I went into the dressing room after it was over, and it had gone about 11 or 12 rounds, and Lewis had won, of course. And I said to him, Joe, that referee did a wonderful job tonight. He said, Mr. Billy showed his. Said, what was his name? Which shows you what he thinks about those things. And there's a kid playing center field for Brooklyn here today that has that same disposition. And I mention him because he led his league the first time up, a sensational thing for any rookie to do. And he's young Reeser, as you know. You might not think it from the All-Star game, but I don't think anything bothers that fellow. Red and I were talking yesterday about him, and he hardly seems to care whether the fellow is a right or a left-handed pitcher. As Red says, he just takes that lumber up there and wears pitchers out. Now, somehow, of course, the Yankees got freshmen in here, too. But somehow when a fellow's good enough to make this great Yankee ball team, you don't look on them as rookies. I don't know why that is. Probably because the Yankees have been so wonderful. They won 9 straight World Series games up to now, as you know, not since Carl Hubble beat them back there. Did they lose one? They're shooting for their 10th here in a few minutes. And so when a fellow like Sturm or Rizzuto, that little Skeeter and great shortstop of the Yanks come up, you sort of don't figure them as rookies. And I don't think just speculating and guessing in advance and doping the thing that any of these young fellas are going to be very jittery. I know them naturally, as Red and Bob do, and I just think they're the type of boys that are going to play their game. They talk about Little Reese, the little colonel from down in Louisville. Well, Little Reese fumbles the ball now and then, but all good shortstops. The better the shortstop, in fact, the more errors they make. Now, I don't think I need to tell you. All you people know Red and you know Bob. You've heard them so many times over so many great broadcasts, not only in baseball and through these series. You're going to get the best possible report. In 1 second, I'm going to turn them back to you. We at Gillette are simply here to report these games as they happen, and we're going to just do the best job we can. And as far as Red and Bob go, I know it's going to be an absolutely perfect job. And Red, I want you to take it back now and take a little bow on that, and I'll be seeing you after the game.
Well, thank you, Bill Corbin. Any bows I take for Bob Elson right along. Right now, the groundkeepers are polishing off the skin surface of the infield. And Red Ruffing for the Yankees, Kurt Davis for the Dodgers, are continuing to warm up their respective right arms. And that's the picture here at Yankee Stadium this afternoon at this moment. And before Chief Umpire Bill McGowan says play ball, let's see what's going on straight across the country. Right now, the windows and counters of Gillette dealers in every city and town and every part of the country are blossoming with a money-saving offer that's a knockout, and I don't mean maybe. You guessed it. I'm talking about the World Series Special Combination Offer, a regular 25-cent tube of Gillette shaving cream, either lather or brushless, absolutely free with the purchase of 10 heavy-duty Gillette Blue Blades. Yes, they're today's improved Gillette Blue Blades with the sharpest edges ever honed.
The cream is an out-and-out gift, and what a gift. Take Gillette Lather Cream, for example. Frankly, we believe there isn't another cream in the world that's 1, 2, 3 with it. Made with 3 different beneficial oils. It whips up into a rich, creamy lather that softens tough beard in a jiffy and stays moist on your face all through the shave. What comfortable shaves you get. And believe me, they're quick and good-looking, too. Now, maybe you prefer brushless cream. Well, thousands upon thousands of men know all about Gillette Brushless, made with pure peanut oil. It's fresh-scented, greaseless, speed-shaving, and can't clog razor or drain. Now you get either of these creams absolutely free. So make it a point to ask for Gillette's great combination offer. A 25-cent tube of Gillette shaving cream, lather, or brushless, and 10 diamond-tested Gillette Blue Blades for only 49 cents, the price of the blades alone. All right, Red?
Thank you, Bob. And the groundskeepers have about finished their pregame chores. Ruffing is pretty far along in his warming up, naturally, because he's to be the starting pitcher and has to be ready first before Kurt Davis. And here are the umpires coming out. The 4 men who have the heavy load of responsibility for calling the decisions in this great classic. From the American League, Bill McGowan will be back at the plate and will be for today the umpire-in-chief. From the National League at first base, Babe Pinelli. From the American League at second, Bill Grieve. From the National League at third, Larry Getz. The American League alternate is John Quinn, and the National League alternate is Bill Stewart. And the umpires are now up at home plate. There's Art Fletcher, Joe McCarthy's right-hand man, bringing up the Yankee batting order, and there's Charlie Dressen, Leo DeRocha's able first lieutenant, bringing up the Dodger batting order. And they will have a quick discussion of ground rules, anything else. Fletcher takes off his cap, mops his brow. It's a hot afternoon. It's hot from the weatherman's standpoint, and it is maybe the red hottest afternoon from a baseball interesting standpoint that has ever come down the big road. And before we go any farther, it's time now to pause for station identification. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
This is WGN, the voice of the people, Chicago.
The umpires and the respective coaches are still continuing their conference up at the plate. I see that Bill McGowan is waving with his right hand down the right field foul line. And, of course, they're talking about the foul poles, which are at the corner of the right field stands and the left field stands. And there are 3 decisions on those poles. If the ball hits the pole, every bit of the pole is in fair ground. If the ball hits the pole and bounces back into fair ground, it is in play. If it hits the pole and kicks over into the stands foul, it's a ground rule 2-bagger. If it hits the pole and kicks into the stands behind fair ground, it's a home run. The groundskeeper's still working around, turning their attention right now on the rubber. The distances here at Yankee Stadium, 296 feet right along the right field foul line, 344 out to right center, to deep center field 461, to left center field 457, and right inside the left field line it is a shade more than 300 feet. In other words, it's close just inside each foul line only, and a little closer on the right field foul line. Bob Elson moving into the microphone with a great deal of pride and pleasure. I give you Bob Elson from WGN Chicago for the first half of the action. Bob?
Thank you very much, Red. Well, friends, as Red has already told you, it's a perfect day, and while the umpires are talking to the coaches down here, I want to tell you something about these 2 starting pitchers, Red Ruffing and Kurt Davis. Ruffing, the veteran of McCarthy's pitching staff, came into baseball as long ago as 1923 with Danville. He was born in Granville, Illinois, May the 5th, 1905. It was 1930 that the Red Sox traded him to the Yankees. Once established with a pennant-winning team, Ruffing became one of the standout right-handers of the majors. Big Red enjoyed 4 amazing years, from 1936 through 1939, winning a total of 82 games in that period and never dropping under 20 for a season. His chief stock in trade is his fastball, and it's a honey with a slider variation. thrills of the playing of our national anthem. I imagine it was just as much a thrill to you and your radio, wherever you happen to be listening, as it was to all of us 70,000 standing here in Yankee Stadium in New York. We're all set now for the first game of the series. I want to tell you something about Kurt Davis, who's pitching for the Dodgers. He's a right-hander. He was born September the 7th, 1906. He's a spot pitcher deluxe. Lean, lanky Davis. To throw in on the midweek deal. Kurt couldn't work as often as he had back in 1939 when he won 22 ball games for the Cardinals, but he was a tough customer for opposing batters when he had his rest. His sweeping sidearm delivery is poison to right-hand hitters, and the left-handers don't like him any too much either. Kurt is known, you know, as the strong, silent man of the Dodger pitching staff, but he's a very genial fellow once his interest in the subject is aroused. We're all set. The umpires are still down here at the home plate. I believe that Bill McGowan of the American League is going to be back at the plate. Babe Pinelli of the National League at first. Greavy of the American League at second. And Getz of the National League is at third. It's a beautiful day. It's just about as perfect a World Series day as we've had. And we're all set now. The teams are not out on the field as yet. The band playing the national anthem was out in center field right under the flagpole. And now they're walking off the field. I believe Red has already given you a description of what this setup looked like. Down from the right field line all the way down to the home plate where our mutual microphones are situated up here in the second deck, it's a double-deck stand. Down the left field line, where we're looking right now down the third base line, it is also a double-deck stand. Across the center field bleachers, across the center field, there's just like a half-moon stand. It has no top on it, the bleachers. It goes all the way across left field to center field and all the way across right field to the right field foul line. It's a beautiful layout, Yankee Stadium. And we're all set now for the first game of the 1941 World Series. Here are the lineups again for those of you who are tuning in late. For the Yankees, Sturm at first base, Rolfe at third, Henrik in right field, DiMaggio in center field, Keller in left field, Dickey the catcher, Gordon at second, Rizzuto at short, and Big Red is going to do the pitching. Ruffing has won 5 World Series ball games and lost 1. He beat the Cubs twice in 1938, and he beat the Reds once in 1939. As I told you, he was born on May the 5th, 1905. Kurt Davis won 13 ball games and lost 7 this year for the Dodgers, and he pitched 5 shutouts. The umpires are still down here around the home plate, and you'll hear a big cheer as the Yankees go out onto the field. Now, the Yankees are wearing their home uniforms. The first game in Yankee Stadium, they're wearing their home uniforms, their white uniform with their black cap and black stockings. And the Dodgers are in their familiar traveling uniform, their gray uniform with the blue caps and blue stockings. There's a last-minute huddle in each one of the dugouts. The Brooklyn dugout is down here to our right in back of first base. And the Yankees have their own home dugout, which is behind third. Red and I are in a wonderful point of vantage here, fans, to tell you fans all over the world about this World Series. I could almost drop a pencil right here and would almost touch home plate. There the Yankees go onto the field. Listen to that cheer. All right, the Yankees are out there on the field. Let's take a look at them now as they line up again. Fans who are keeping your scorecards or scoreboard someplace will get a chance to recheck your lineup. As I look onto the field, Charlie Keller is going into left field. Joe DiMaggio is all set in center field. Henrik is walking into right field. He has his back to us, and that number 7 shows up on his white uniform. At third base is the veteran Red Rolfe. At shortstop, Phil Rizzuto, one of the outstanding rookies of the year. At second base is Gordon, and at first base is Sturm. The catcher is Bill Dickey, who is certainly no newcomer to World Series play, and the pitcher is Big Red, Charlie Ruffing himself. The umpires are just as we told you. The umpires, as we told you, Bill McGowan is going to be back at the plate. Right now he has his whisk broom out. He's leaning over, and he's cleaning off the plate. He has his chest protector strapped over his left arm. He's holding his mask in his left hand, and he's right down below us. At third base is a National League umpire, Getz. At second base, American League umpire, Greavy. And the first base umpire, also no newcomer to World Series, is the National League umpire, Babe Pinelli. And so we're all set. That's the picture now as we look out onto the field here at Yankee Stadium. The stage is set for the first game of the 1941 World Series between two wonderful teams. First man to bat, for the Brooklyn Dodgers is standing outside the batter's box. It's Dixie Walker, their right fielder. This year he hit 311, and he drove in 71 runs. We'll give you these figures the first time down the batting order. First time down the batting order for the Yankees and for the Dodgers. We'll give you the batting averages, and we'll also give you the number of runs they drove in for the year. And so you'll have just sort of an idea what they've done coming up to this World Series game. All right. Walker has stepped into the batter's box. McGowan is slipping his mask over his face. Now he's strapping on that chest protector. The infielders are ready. The outfielders are swung off. DiMaggio is playing. Now he's starting to move a bit. He was playing off a bit into right center. He's playing a dead center. Henrich is playing a normal right field. And the left fielder, Keller, is playing just a few feet to the left field line. Walker is the notorious left field hitter. I mean, for a left-handed hitter, he can hit as well to left field as anybody in baseball. Here's the first pitch. It's a ball, a little bit too low that time. Roughing through in a fastball that was just a little bit too low, and it's ball one. This Roughing's cheap stock in trade, of course, are his fastball. He's got a good slider, and he's got a swell curve. He's all ready. Here's the pitch. There's the ball. It's low again. The pitch was in just a little bit too low. The umpire, Bill McGowan, went way down to take a look at it. And so there have been two pitches now in this first World Series game. Walker has not offered at either of them. Nobody on, nobody out. First half of the first inning at New York. And the World Series is underway. Roughing gets his sign. He starts that slow windup. Here's the pitch. There's a ball that missed the corner waist high. Ball 3 for Walker. Charlie Dresden is coaching over at third base for Brooklyn. And Lippy DeRocher, the manager of the Dodgers, is coaching at first. Brooklyn wearing gray uniforms with blue caps and blue stockings. The Yankees in white. Roughing is 3-0 count. Gets ready. Here's the pitch. It's a ball. Walker walked on 4 pitch balls. Walker walked on 4 pitch balls, and only one of them was close. That was the third one, that waist-high pitch, you remember, that just missed the corner. The other 3 were definitely balls. Now the next man to bat is Billy Herman, the former Cubs captain and second baseman. Hit 285 for the Dodgers and drove in 40 runs. Billy has been one of the main cogs in this Dodger drive. He's up in there now with a teammate on first base and nobody out in the first half of the first inning. Walker content with a very short leadoff. Here's the pitch. There he goes down, a hit and run on the first pitch, and he bounces one down to the third baseman, Rolfe, to play to first. He's out. He's out at first base. Rolfe to Sturm. The hit and run was put on the very first pitch. Billy Herman hitting the ball down to the third baseman, Rolfe, who came in fast and threw him out. And so Brooklyn has a man in a scoring position. Walker is out on second, and the next man to bat, the National League's leading hitter, Petey Reeser, who hit 343 and drove in 74 runs. One man on, one out in the first inning for the Dodgers. Here's the left-hand hitter, Petey Reeser. Most of the experts look upon Reeser of Brooklyn and Rizzuto of the Yankees as 2 of the outstanding young players of the year. The first pitch, he swings a high fly ball to dead center field. DiMaggio going just a bit to his right and back about 10 feet. He caught it. And now the runner from second starts to make a motion to go to third, but he goes back. Walker started as though he might be going to go to third. I believe it was just to draw a throw and to see what kind of a throw in DiMaggio would make. And then he went back to second. And so the runner is still on second base with 2 out for the Dodgers. And the next man to come up is Dolph Camelli. Camelli, a great ball player, hit 285 and drove in 121 for the Dodgers. 120 runs driven in. Man on second base for the Dodgers. Camelli batting. The outfield is swung off to the right. It's Keller in left field, DiMaggio in center field, and Henrich in right field. DiMaggio takes 10 more steps toward right field. Here's Dolph Camelli up, number 4 in the back of his gray uniform. A chance to put the Dodgers in the lead if he gets a hit. Roughing is set, a fastball. He swings and misses. And that was plenty fast. Did you hear that yell from the crowd? Dolph Camelli went all the way around trying to give that ball a ride and missed. Believe me, that crowd really broke out in a spontaneous yell. Dodgers batting in the first inning. Walker on second base and 2 out, and their first baseman, Dolph Camelli, up in there. Roughing gets his sign again from Dickey. Here's the next pitch. It's a ball, very high and very wide, and it's 1-1. Ball 1 and strike 1. There isn't much of a wind today. Notice the flags up here on top of the stands, blowing in every direction, but just lightly. There's not any strong wind. If anything, it's blowing away. It's blowing away from the plate. The pitcher does not have the benefit of the wind. The flag in center field now is pointed the other way. Here comes the next pitch, and Camelli takes a fast one that's a little bit too low. Ruffing walked in a few feet. He folds his arms. He didn't like the count so much. It's ball 2 and strike 1. Ball 2 and strike 1 on Camelli, with Walker on second base and 2 out. Ruffing working very deliberately out there. Big, stocky right-hander. Getting all set again. Walker on second base is content with a short leadoff. The Yankees talk it up out there in the infield. That's the old Pepper. Now they're all set. Ruffing is ready. Here's the next pitch. Camelli swings and misses. That pitch was right up around his shoulders and inside. And Camelli went all the way around trying to give it a ride. Now Duff walks out of the batter's box and gets some dirt on his hands. Brooklyn players in the dugout. Half of them are leaning out over the edge of the dugout, watching play intently. Charlie Dresden in the third base coaching box is standing still. Lippy DeRocher coaching at first, keeps pacing up and down. The man on second base for Brooklyn, and there's 2 out, and there's a count of 2-2 on Dolph Camelli. Ruffing gets set. Here it is. He struck him out. He went all the way around trying to hit that ball, and he struck him out. And so, friends, in the first half of the first inning of this ball game, the first game of the World Series, Walker walked, Herman bounced to Rolfe, Reeser flied to DiMaggio, and Camelli went down swinging. So it is no runs and no hits as the ball game goes into the last half of the first inning, and now the Brooklyn team is going onto the field. There's little Petey Reeser going out to center field, putting on his sunglasses, getting his cap on. Going into left field is Joe Medwick, a veteran World Series play. Going into right field is Dixie Walker, who's played great ball for Brooklyn all year. And around the infield for the Dodgers, Lavagetto is playing third. Reese is playing short. Billy Herman at second. Camelli at first. Owen is catching, and Kurt Davis, a slender right-hander, is doing the pitching. I told you before that Kurt Davis is what is known as a real low-ball specialist. He's a famous sidearm pitcher. He's got a sinker ball, and he keeps that ball in low. And when he has one of his good days, he's a mighty tough customer for right-handers or left-handers to hit. And so we have 2 wonderful pitchers in this first game, and 2 great teams. Now the first man to bat for the Yankees is Johnny Sturm. Sturm hit 239 for the year and batted in 36 runs. Sturm, number 34 in the back of his white uniform, is about to step in. Now let's see how the defense is straight away in the outfield. Reeser is right in line with second base. Left fielder, right fielder playing just about a normal position. Third baseman Lavagetto is drawn in a bit. Here's the first pitch to Sturm. It's a strike. It's right down the middle. Called strike on Johnny Sturm. Art Fletcher is coaching at third for New York. Earl Combs, the former Gray Eagle, is coaching over there at first. Former great outfielder himself. Now he's all ready. Here's the next pitch, and Sturm swings. There's the first hit of the series. The line drive to left field. Sturm slams a line drive over Lavagetto's head, and there is the first hit of the World Series. Now the next man to come up is Red Rowe, the left-handed batter. Kurt Davis getting his sign, watching that man Sturm on first base, who has a short lead off. Here's the pitch, and there's a ball that's wide. The outfield is not playing too deep. Rolfe is what we know as a line hitter. Hits that ball on the line or hits that line drive, and the outfield is not playing very deep. Davis throws to first, but the runner's back in plenty of time. Davis, a tall, slender right-hander on the mound, up over his head, keeps an eye on that base runner. Here's the next pitch to Rolfe. It's a ball wide, waist high, and it's ball 2. It's 2-0 now for Rolfe. The umpire back at the plate today is Bill McGowan of the American League. Lavagetto steps in a few feet at third base. Sturm on first base, edging off again. Nobody out. Here's the pitch. There's a swing and a ground ball to Camelli. Camelli makes a play at second base. It is out at second. A very close play over there. Camelli threw that ball to second base where Reese was covering, and it was a forced out on Sturm, and it was a very close play. It was a bouncing ball down the first base line to Camelli. And even though that runner was well down to second base, Dolph took a chance, and he got him at second base on a very close play. 1 out. Now here's Henrik, the right fielder. Hit .275 for the year. Yankees have a man on first base with 1 out in the last half of the first. There's no score in the game. Davis is ready. Here's the pitch, a beautiful curve in around his knees, and it's a called strike. The outfield is swung a bit to the right. The center fielder, Reeser, is deep. He's moved back for Henrich. He's off a bit to the right. Now somebody's wigwagging from the Brooklyn dugout and motioning Medwick to move over a bit toward center field. And so they're playing Henrich as a right field hitter, as a pull hitter. Davis is ready again. Here's the next pitch. There's a curve, and he hits the ground ball down to the second baseman. Over to second base, out, back over to first. He's safe. No double play. The play went from Billy Herman to Reese to Camelli. The play at first was not close. So there's 2 outs. Now here's Joe DiMaggio. Joe hit .357 for the Yankees. Drove in 125 runs. Certainly go down in the record book as one of the great players of all time. Joe DiMaggio up in there, a right-handed batter. 2 gone here in the last half of the first inning. Kurt Davis raised his arm over his head, drops him down. There's a runner going down, and there's a fly ball into left field. The left fielder, Medwick, is coming over near the line. Should get it, and he does get it to retire the side. So 1 man is left on the bases. It is no run and 1 hit for New York, and that is the end of the first inning.
If you missed the opening of this broadcast, you also missed an important announcement. Gillette dealers are giving away a 25-cent tube of Gillette shaving cream, lather or brushless, with the purchase of 10 Gillette Blue Blades. Remember, you pay nothing for the cream. But there's no score, and we're going into the second inning.
Well, the Yankees are all set out there in the field now, fans. First inning, there wasn't much damage done. The Dodgers drew a walk in their half. The Yankees had a hit in their half. It was made by Johnny Sturm. And the first man to bat for Brooklyn will be their left fielder, Joe Medwick. Medwick hit .318 for the season and batted in 88 runs. The outfield is all ready. Keller in left field, DiMaggio in center field, Henrik in right field, Rolfe at third, Rizzuto at short, Gordon at second, Sturm at first, Dickey catching and Ruffing pitching. We're going to repeat the lineups occasionally during the course of the broadcast for you fans who might be tuning in late. Now here's Medwick up, no score as we start the second inning. Ruffing stretches a bit out there. The outfield is playing a bit to the left for Medwick. DiMaggio is off a bit from center field into left field, and he swings and misses the first pitch. Medwick went all the way around trying to give that first pitch of Ruffing's a ride, and he missed it. Number 6 on the back of his gray uniform. Medwick is leading off in the first half of the second. Now Ruffing is getting his sign again. Here's the next pitch, a fastball, and he hits it foul up into the screen right below our mutual broadcasting booth. And it is 2 strikes for Medwick. Red Rolfe is playing this hitter over near the third baseline, just a few feet to his right. Medwick hits that ball a lot down that left field line. Maggio is playing him a bit off center toward left field. Joe holds that bat out in front of him, swings it around a couple of times, holds it with one hand. Now he has both hands a hold of it. Ruffing leans over a bit. He's starting his windup. Here comes the next pitch, and it's a ball. It's high, right above his chin, and it's ball 1 and strike 2 for Medwick. No score in the ball game. We're in the second inning. Nobody on, nobody out for the Dodgers. Joe Medwick up. The pitchers are Ruffing and Kurt Davis. Ruffing leans on that right foot, swings around. Here comes the next pitch. He struck him out. He went for a curveball right across the letters, and he struck him out. Medwick struck out. Now the next batter is Cookie Lavagetto, the third baseman. Hit .277 for the Dodgers and batted in 78 runs. Lavagetto, stepping into the batter's box, number 5 in the back of his gray uniform, alternated throughout the course of the year with Riggs quite a bit at third base. But DeRocher is stringing along with Cookie in the series. There's a long foul up into the stands way down the right field line. Lavagetto swung at Ruffing's first pitch and hit it up into the upper deck. Now a new ball has been tossed out to Big Red. Walks around out there, has his back turned to the hitter. Now he turns around facing him. Juggles that ball around in his glove. Lavagetto and sort of a semi-crouch. Ruffing starts his windup again. Here's the next pitch to Lavagetto, and Lavagetto swings and misses. That pitch was right in around his waist, and Harry went all the way around trying to give it a ride, and he missed. And so it is 2 strikes for Lavagetto, 1 out and nobody on in the first half of the second. No score in the ball game. Ruffing leans on that right foot again. He has his sign, swings around. Here's the pitch. He hits a ground ball through the box. The shortstop is up with the ball. There's the peg. He's out, and it wasn't close. Rizzuto went to his left hurriedly towards second base, came up with that bouncing ball through the box, and threw Lavagetto out, and he was out by 10 feet. 2 gone. Now the next batter is the shortstop, the little Colonel, Pee Wee Reese. Hit 228 for the Dodgers and batted in 47 runs. Ruffing looks him over. There's 2 out and nobody on. Big Red is starting his windup. Here's the pitch, and it's in close. Reese jumps away from ball 1. Steps out of the batter's box and dries his hands. Now he gets up in there again. The Yankee outfield pulls in about 15 feet for Reese, and they're playing him straight away. Ruffing has his sign. He starts his windup. Here's the next pitch to Reese, and Reese takes a beautiful fastball right down the middle with a lot of zip on it, and it's a called strike. It's 1-1. So far, there's only been 1 hit in this game. It was made by Sturm of the Yankees. First time up, he singled to left field. There's been 1 walk. It was given to Walker in the first inning by Ruffing. Red starting his windup. Here's the next pitch, and Reese swings, and here's a foul. It's out of play. It's up into the stands to the right, and it's ball 1 and strike 2 in the batter. Again, Reese walks about 10 feet away from the plate and gets some dirt on his hands. Right now, he's leaning on the bat. Now he takes it in his hands, and he's starting to walk into the batter's box. He stops outside the box. He hasn't stepped in yet. Now he steps up in there, and Ruffing has his back to him. Big Red is looking around the infield and the outfield. He's turning around. Nobody on for Brooklyn, and 2 out in the first half of the second. No score. Now Ruffing, arms at his side. He's getting ready. He leans on that right foot. He's starting his windup. Here's the next pitch to Reese. It's a ball. It's in close, and it's 2-2. Ball 2 and strike 2 for Reese. Remember the second game of the series here at Yankee Stadium tomorrow, and then the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, if necessary, at Brooklyn, and then, if necessary, the 6th and 7th back at Yankee Stadium. Yankee Stadium is jammed today to the rafters. Ball 2, strike 2 for Reese. Here comes the next pitch. He swings, and there's a high fly ball into left field. The left fielder is under the ball and should get it. Keller is standing right under it. He caught it, and it retires the side. And so in that inning, it was 3 up and 3 down. Medwick struck out. Lavagetto bounced out to the shortstop, Rizzuto, and Reese flied to Keller. 3 up and 3 down. No runs, no hits, no errors. And that's the end of the first half of the second inning.
How would you like a lifetime souvenir of the World Series? Well, here it is. The World Series special Gillette Tech razor with its 24-karat gold-plated head and ebonized metal handle. I could talk all day about the quick, easy shaves it gives, but Joe Medwick puts it this way. Take it from me, the Gillette Tech is by all odds the easiest shaving razor I ever laid against my face. And fans, you can take it from Joe, for he has a beard you can scratch a match off. Does this handsome razor cost a pile of money? No, it's only 49 cents, complete with 5 Gillette Blue Blades, the sweetest shaving combination any man ever used. Ask your dealer for the World Series special Gillette Tech razor and get a new shaving thrill.
Well, fans, we're going into the last half of the second inning of the ball game. No score on either side. Big Charlie Keller swinging a couple of bats down here to the right side of the plate as we look down from our mutual broadcasting booth. Now he's stepping up in there to face Kurt Davis as we go into the last half of the second inning of a scoreless ball game. Dodger outfield is playing in deep and around a bit to the right. Keller, in this season, hit .298 and drove in 122 runs. The first pitch from Davis is wide, knee-high for a ball. Charlie, by the way, was second only to Joe DiMaggio in runs driven in. He led Joe for quite a while, but in the last 2 weeks of the season, DiMaggio caught him, and he drove in 125 and Keller 122. Ball, it's wide. That was very far outside. It wasn't close, and it's ball 2 for Keller. Lavagetto at third, Reese at short, Billy Herman at second, Dolph Camilli at first. The outfield is Medwick. Reeser and Walker. The next pitch he swings, and there's a high fly ball into right center field that Reeser should have no trouble with. It's very high. He's under it, and he caught it for the first out. Into right center field, caught by Reeser, and there's one gone. Now here's Bill Dickey. Dickey hit 284 for the Yankees this year and drove in 64 runs. He's a left-handed batter and certainly no newcomer to World Series competition. Dodger outfield is playing him straight away with the right fielder plenty deep. Bill's a good pull hitter. Kurt Davis is getting his sign. The windup, here's the first pitch, and Dickey swings. There's a high bouncing ball to Billy Herman. Coming in on the ball, there's the peg. He's out. Herman to Comelli, and there's two gone. The play was not close. That brings up Flash Gordon, second baseman of the Yankees. Hit 277 and drove in 86 runs. Dodgers move in after that putout and pepper that ball around. Lavagetto to Reese, to Billy Herman to Comelli. Now they go back to their normal positions, and here is Gordon. Gordon batting for the Yankees with 2 out and nobody on in the last half of the second inning. There is no score on either side. 12-ball game between two great teams. Kurt Davis leans on that right foot. He's a wiry right-hander in contrast to Ruffing, who's a big burly right-hander. There's a called strike. It caught the outside corner on Gordon, right knee high, and it's a called strike on Joe. Gordon, a number 6 in the back of his white uniform, waves that bat around. Kurt Davis is ready again. Here's the next pitch, and there's a ball. It's wide knee high, and it's 1-1. That was a straight sidearm delivery by Davis. He's a low sidearm specialist. Kurt's getting all ready again. Here's the next pitch. There's an inside pitch that Gordon swung on, waist high, and he rolled the ball foul on the ground to the left. And so it is ball 1 and strike 2 for Gordon. So far, there's only been 1 hit in the game. That was a single in the first inning by Stern. No runs, no score on either side. Third baseman Lavagetto is playing Gordon almost on the third baseline, just about a foot from the line. Davis is getting set. Here's the next pitch. It's a ball, very close. It almost hit him in the knee, and it's ball 2 and strike 2 for Gordon. The Dodger outfield is playing Gordon as a left field hitter. They're swung way over toward the left side of the outfield. Reeser is playing him way over in dead left center. Kurt Davis is getting his sign again. Ball 2, strike 2. Here's the pitch. A high bouncing ball. It's fouled down the third baseline. Fletcher gets it and tosses it back to Davis. Artie Fletcher coaching at third, and Earl Combs over at first. Gordon walks out of the batter's box, dries his hands, fidgets around a bit. Now he steps up in there again and pounds his bat on the plate. Ball 2, strike 2, 2 out and nobody on. Davis is winding up. Here's the pitch. He hits a foul. It's out of play. It's up into the stands here to the left, and it's still 2-2 in the batter. Now the Dodger catcher, Mickey Owen, takes his mask off, gets a new baseball from umpire Bill McGowan of the American League and roughs it up in his hand. Tosses it back to the pitcher. Now he's stepping back in behind the plate. And Gordon is back in the batter's box. It's 2-2 on the Yankees' second baseman. Kurt Davis is getting his sign. Now he's starting his windup. Here comes the pitch. He hits a foul, out of play again behind third base. It's going into the stands. Lavagetto comes over along the box seat, but sees there's no play, and he turns around and goes back to third. There's a wild scramble for that souvenir. Davis is getting all ready. Practically everybody out here in the stands in shirt sleeves. It's a wonderful day. Pitcher's all set. Here it comes. He hits a long fly ball way back in the left field. Way back. It may be a home run. It's a home run for Gordon. And the Yankees lead 1-0. That was a mighty wallop, fan. That ball went very high into the air, and it went very far out. Somewhere around 365, 370 feet from home plate and way up into the stands. There was no doubt about it. It was a long home run. So the honor of the first home run in the World Series goes to Gordon. Now here's the shortstop, Lazzuto. He had a fine year, and he batted in 46 runs. score, the Yankees won, the Dodgers nothing. 2 out and nobody on in the last half of the second. Davis is getting all ready. Ball 1 for Rizzuto. Here's the pitch. He swings. There's a fly ball back into left field. Left fielder going back, turns around a couple of times. He caught it. Medwick backed up, turned around a couple of times, and he caught Rizzuto's long fly ball to retire the side. Incidentally, I want to tell you fans that on that home run by Gordon, Medwick, the left fielder, didn't move. He knew it was a home run from the time the ball was in. And so in the last half of the second inning, the total's 1 run, 1 hit, a home run by Gordon. At the score at the end of 2 innings of play in the first game of the World Series, the Yankees won and the Dodgers nothing. Now we're going to pause for station identification. You're listening to the broadcast from Yankee Stadium in New York City of the first game of the 1941 World Series. This is the coast-to-coast network of the Mutual Broadcasting System.
This is WGN, the voice of the people, Chicago.